What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Real Estate Served on the Rocks, powered by Living in Colorado, The Mile High Perspective on YouTube, Fathom Realty, as well as Keller Williams Downtown. My name is Charlie Sardelli, and I'm here with
Jameson Amaros,
Oscar Barra,
and we are here at the Rouge Wine and Bourbon Bistro, as always, our lovely sponsor down here in Greenwood Village, Colorado. And on today's episode, first off, guys, Happy New Year. We're back after the new year.
We are back. You actually nailed the intro after being off.
I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't even know what I'm doing with my hands.
Can't even lie
right
to
now.
you. When I started talking about the Living in Colorado line, my brain, I'm just in autopilot.
Autopilot.
It was like, I just felt it flow. I was like, let it go.
Just lock in. Lock in, baby. Lock in.
Exactly. No,
It's funny.
mean,
I was just thinking. I was like, man, he's really hitting it. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to start mumbling. And
I'll tell you what. I'm good at survival mode. I'm
Yeah.
good at just going in.
Compartmentalizing.
Yep. Just put it in.
you
But
know,
no, guys.
when public speakers were like, just picture everybody in their
their
underwear. Charlie's like, just picture someone with a gun to your head.
Yeah, just
Survival
go for
mode.
it.
You'll make it happen.
Go for it. But yeah, guys, hope we had a phenomenal holiday season, whether you celebrated Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever it may be. Hope you had a phenomenal New Year with some good bourbon. Because I know for me, I was up in New York, and it was an interesting time being around a bunch of Irish people in an Irish bar for New Year's.
With Irish whiskey.
I drank and I drank more
In New
Guinness.
York?
Oh,
Yeah.
Guinness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I drank more Guinness than I planned on. That's for sure.
I read somewhere, or maybe it was a meme, that Guinness is just the male version of an espresso martini.
I
don't know.
Which
Don't-
now
don't-
I'm
I
like,
could
you
get
know what?
behind that.
Don't let my uncles hear you tell us like that.
I'm just saying, it's the male version of espresso martini. So if you like
I'll
Guinness,
tell you what, though, they did have some
Hey.
pretty good pours up there. They did. But guys, on today's episode, since this is the beginning of the year, obviously we talk about real estate, we drink bourbon, we review bourbon on the podcast. But what we want to do is kind of give you some things that you can start the year off with that'll help you moving through this market, especially because 2025 going to be an interesting market, especially come the spring season. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about three different topics, three different kind of articles that we found to kind of assist you as you move through the 2025 market. And the three topics that we're going to discuss are going to be 2 ways to use your home equity to help you, 2 ways to not use your home equity that will hurt you. The next one we're going to talk about is going to be one of the best markets in the country right now is actually in our backyard.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about that. And Jimo, remind me, what was the third one?
third one, we're going to talk about if you're looking at selling your house, how can you sell it faster than 80% of the homes around you?
I like it. So, like I said,
It's a
guys,
teaser.
not only do we, talk about real estate on here, bring you guys the information, but we drink bourbon. And I know on the last couple episodes we've been going a little out of left field.
Ham, baby.
Right.
We've been going ham.
No, we've been not allowing them to not twist our arm to bring in good bourbon. if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
like, no, don't bring us. I kind of feel bad. We've had some bourbons that the general public may or may not be able to get. That's how.
Yeah.
That's how specialized some of these bourbons were.
Oh yeah, exactly. And so
we're bringing
today,
it back in, baby.
Exactly. And on that note, guys, the bourbon that we're going to be drinking on today's episode is going to be the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel
Goddamn
Select.
red-blooded American whiskey, baby.
Where's Colin when we need him?
I know. Exactly.
This is
He's going to be
Colin's
so
episode,
I'm
mad.
gonna
right?
start talking to Southern drawl now.
Good old Tennessee.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
So there's a difference between yonder and I was talking to one of my cousins from the South, and it was like there's yonder and then there's like distance.
Just
tied to
distance
those
kind
stupid
of
fucking words.
yonder. Oh, over the hill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like 20 feet,
Yep.
half mile, and it's like what?
It's just known.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like fucking. You get down with the lingo
Well, it's
down
kind of like if you're when I was in New York. My uncle was like, "Oh, you're gonna go one block." I had to look at Alicia and go, "Okay, I need you to understand this is a New York City block, not like
Yeah.
a
Well,
like a
there's the
normal
short
block.
blocks and then there's the long blocks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like the avenues and the streets, right?
Yeah, and that's a great little segue there, Oscar. The reason that we chose Jack Daniel's this one specifically is because when you walk into a bar, this is a lot of time going to be on the top shelf. This is where if you're not at a place like the Rouge that does have a huge selection, this is going to what most people consider high end.
Yes.
Because it's single barrel select.
It has all the buzzwords.
Has all the buzzwords.
And the bottle's fancy.
Yes. Well, fun fact. So
It's actually not even fancy. It's just a Jack Daniel's bottle. It just looks like it got squished in one of those
down.
hydraulic presses.
well, fun fact about this bottle. This one, guys, is 94 proof. It is going to be a little bit lower than a lot of the single barrels that we have had, but Frank Sinatra Select. The reason that they took that out of the lineup was because it was competing too heavily with this bottle.
Interesting.
So the Sinatra Select was pulling sales away from this. So they said, all right, you know what? We're going to step back and push the single barrel.
So we got rid of Old Blue Eyes for this?
So it better be good. That's
I'm
what
just
I'm saying.
saying. I've had the
Yeah.
Sinatra. It's a different league.
It is a different
totally
league.
I
different
think
league.
I think it's Jack
It's their
Daniel's
premier.
top.
Yeah, it's their
There's
premier.
nothing better.
And that's what I mean. Is so many people
So
were going for that.
I haven't
over-
had this in a while either.
over
Interesting.
this.
I'm gonna grab my water, guys.
All right, yeah, go for it. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this out. Yeah, that was a good pop.
That was a good pop. It's like a good high five. You know, you gotta cup it. That's not water. That's a fish tank. Good God,
Hey,
Oscar's got the
hydrate,
Denver
man.
Aquarium
you're
with
gonna
him
be
here.
hydrated as fuck, bro.
Hey, I'll put it down here. Jeez.
No, you could leave it up
No,
there.
no,
It's
no.
just it's very large.
Shit.
It's girthy.
Trying to be healthy.
Trying to be
here.
healthy, man.
That is the,
Get
that's
that
the
water
girthiest
intake.
water bottle I've seen in a long time.
All right,
Sit
so
girthy.
You got to put out the California fires with that thing.
Hey, do my part,
Too soon?
man.
no, well, no. Honestly, on that note, guys, if you are involved in that, please, please check out. We have an episode that we did. I think it was 2 years ago now. Talks all about FEMA, how to kind of reach out and get some help. So please refer back to that episode. And if we can help you answer any questions in any way, please reach out to us. We want to make sure that you get taken care of with everything going on.
Absolutely.
So with this barrel, with this bottle, like I said, this is kind of their signature. They do have a bunch of different flavors. They have like a rye, they have like a high wheat, stuff like that. But this is their kind of
I
signature.
mean, is that a flavor at this point?
What?
I mean, we're bourbon connoisseurs.
Is what a flavor?
Is it a flavor or is it just the mash bill?
It's the mash bill.
You know, do we
Yeah.
call it a flavor? You know, it's because
Yeah,
when
it's-
when,
yeah, I know.
when
yeah,
I think
agree.
flavor, it's like
Right.
kind of that road
Like a
pass
vanilla
that we-
Coke versus a cherry Coke.
or Crown Royale, right? They're
Yeah,
those
they
are
do flavors.
like
Yeah, yeah.
peach and all this.
Yeah, sour apples.
Yeah,
A different man.
So,
No, that you're right. I
would it
like
be
that's
the
a good
mash
point.
bill or would it be a
Yeah,
flavor?
no, it's
No,
a
that's a
mash
good
bill.
point,
It's a
especially
mash
because now there are
Asking
flavored
for a
bourbons.
friend.
Yes.
So
Yes.
no, I think that's a great distinction. All right, so just a little bit about it. Like I said, bottled at 94 proof. So the notes I'm going to go over after we get our noses in it. I poured it out. It's been sitting for just a couple minutes, but the whole point of this is it's supposed to have a robust character, and it's supposed to accentuate the flavors from the barrel. Again, guys, single barrel, cask strength, all that kind of stuff. Those are meant to be less of the focus on the mash bill, more on the quality of the wood in the barrel, and to get more of those sugars, those natural oak flavors. So I'm interested to see how this goes, especially because it is Jack Daniel's, and we know that.
Well, and so Jack Daniel's, it gets you
Just say it.
No,
Yeah. Just say
it's
it.
a hard rap.
Just
you know?
say
It belongs in a shot.
Yes.
You're gonna shoot
This
it?
is it's
Or
normally a brown.
Coke,
It's a
or
brown
ginger.
bagger. It's a brown bagger.
It
It is.
It's
I
a
don't
brown
know.
bagger.
I'm a fan.
It's a brown
in
bagger.
Coke and ginger, you know, it's a mixed drink kind of. It's not a sipper.
Not only is it a brown bagger, if I saw you out and you ordered just a regular Jack Daniel's neat, I'd want you to take that brown bag, put it over your head so that nobody could recognize you.
All right.
Like a Cleveland Browns fan.
That was harsh, man. I was thinking if I see you out drinking a Jack Daniel's by yourself,
Or
I'm gonna
I've
go
gone
give you
through
a
some
hug
shit.
and see
Yeah, no, that's what
what's
I would
going
say.
on,
I'd be like,
man.
hey, man.
Let's sit and talk.
doing
You
okay?
look like
Give you a
need a
hug.
friend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that Jack Daniel bottle away from you. Maybe put in like some larceny. And we're gonna sip it out. I'm just saying.
Sip it out. I like
But
that.
it does get a harsh rap. I think because it has a sour mash.
Yeah.
You know, it has a sour mash. It just hits you. It's kind of like your partying kind of.
And it's
whiskey
a
to grab
very,
onto.
very unique sour mash. Like
Yes.
we've had
it's Jack Daniels.
We've had like Michter's sour mash.
Tennessee whiskey.
Right? And I love Michter's in general. And Michter's sour mash is one of my favorite bourbons. This, like not this, but regular Jack Daniels. But again, they built an entire brand on it being a mixed drink.
And that's why I'm excited for this. The
And
reason
yes.
like I'm excited
Right.
for this because this is them taking a step into that upper echelon
Yes.
where they're.
And they have a few.
Yeah.
They have Gentleman's Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Single select.
And I'll tell you what, to me, Gentleman's Jack is hot. It's extremely
Yes, I
hot.
agree. I agree.
Whenever I drink it, and it's more of that like a flat flavor.
Before
I'm
I-
excited for this.
Before I started getting into bourbons, I remember someone brought Gentleman's and Select, and I was just like, they should just stick to what they do.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, now I want to taste it with a more
Exactly.
refined
Yeah.
palate.
Exactly.
Because the two like top brands when it comes to, you think Jack Daniels, what's the other one? Jim Beam.
Jim Beam. Mhm.
You sip on Jim Beam, it's actually a sipper.
It's
You
like
could
Jack,
sip Jim Beam.
Jim, and Four Roses.
But if you put, let's say you got those three.
Yeah, but Four
You'll-
Roses
you'll-
you can.
you'll
Four
kn-
Roses is.
And you can sip Jim too.
yeah.
Jack Daniels just has that distinct sour mash. You'll know it's
Oh
Jack.
yeah. You on the nose.
You could be
Like,
a
immediately.
non-bourbon connoisseur. Put some Jack Daniels in a Jim Beam and blind taste them. You're gonna know which Jack Daniels.
We need
Oh,
to do.
yeah.
We need to do a blind
We do.
video, blind taste video.
See
That would
where
be-
we are with
partner
everything.
with them. Yeah. All right. So first off, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and get my nose in it. But first off, on this bourbon. I love the congruency and the regularity that you see with single barrels or cask strengths, where they're a lot darker in color.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been filtered as much, so they pull more of that natural wood color, and it's a lot darker. I will say
it's not a Jack Daniel's nose. I mean, you can get
No,
a little
it's-
bit, but it's not.
I'm getting so much like fruit, like plum, on the front. Again, I'm fearful that this is gonna fall a little flat. I hope it opens and I hope it's complex, but just on the nose, I'm getting a subtle caramel, subtle vanilla.
Subtle caramel vanilla, but fruit
Caramel,
heavy.
vanilla, and
Definitely fruit heavy.
apricot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that fruit heavy. It's
Yeah.
very forward. Not a lot of spice on the nose.
No,
Well,
but again,
I mean, it kind of lends itself almost to like a cucumbery,
Yeah.
refreshing kind of smell.
It'll be interesting too, because this is that barrel strength. It should be heavier on the oil, so it should be lighter on your tongue. So I'm interested to see.
Which is funny because when they say, "Oh, it's barrel strength,"
Yeah.
we're thinking 100
Gritty.
plus.
Yeah.
You know, it's 94.
Yeah.
94.
94.
I will tell you this: this holiday season has taught me that this show has increased my tolerance for hot whiskey
100%.
and bourbon.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
had
was,
this
I
conversation
had,
over the holiday too.
I had, what was I pouring? I think it was Eagle Rare 10 year, right? Mm-hmm. And I love Eagle Rare 10 year. I think it's too pricey, but I think it's a great bourbon. And it's hot. It's 100 proof, right? Or it's 100 proof. And I was just pouring it neat for people like me.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey man, you gotta try this, you gotta try this. And I'm sitting there sipping,
you're burning.
and I'm looking over, dude, and it's people are just like,
I love it.
look like they were getting punched in the stomach.
Yep.
I'm like, what are you guys drinking something different than I'm drinking?
Yep. I'll tell you what.
And then
a
I looked down,
testament-
I was like, oh, maybe it's a me problem.
no, a testament to the old soul. Like
Yes.
just another testament. That
Yeah.
was our highest rated.
Yeah.
But my two buddies that came up last year, I gave them the Dexter, and they were like, "Ah, man, this is pretty hot." This year, straight sipping, and they were like, "Wow, this is great."
Yeah.
You know, and that to me, I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good bourbon." Like that right there. If people who don't normally drink high proof can
Yeah.
drink it and get the flavor from it,
I
it's
mean, I'm
great.
sure that's what happens when people first try like black tar heroin for the first time.
You have to acquire a
You gotta
taste for that.
acquired taste.
Get your
Yes.
palate. All right.
Hey,
I'm
we
gonna go
don't
ahead.
condone
How
the
was
use
your
of black tar
holiday
heroin.
season?
I'm gonna go ahead and get my sipping cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. Yeah, you gotta get
You gotta get in there, Oscar.
Got the holiday poundage on.
One day we'll get a larger coffee table, make it a little bit more conducive.
Okay. Okay. Hold on.
Oh, mess. We haven't done this podcast in a
know.
while.
All right. Hold on. Okay. All right. Hold on. Right off the bat,
Hold on, I haven't. I
that
poured it all over me.
silkiness, evident immediately on the tongue. The lightness on the palate is incredible. As far as the flavor goes, I don't know about you.
Super caramel.
Yes.
Caramel, vanilla,
Heavy.
toffee,
Yes.
very.
But not. I don't know how to put. You know when we've had it in the past, and it was more of that like. It wasn't a sweetness, like a sugar sweet. It was more of like a flavor sweet. I don't know how to put that.
Yeah.
But this one is to me it's more sugar sweet,
Yeah.
right? I feel like I'm getting less of the natural flavors of the wood and more of the sugar in it.
It's actually a pretty smooth.
Kind of
It
like
is.
biting into a pound cake.
Yeah, it's wild. But again, it makes sense as to this being mainstream that it's going to be a little bit lighter on the palate, easier sipper and sweeter because if this is most bars have this, they need to be able to get people need to be able to drink this.
What is that?
That
The
caramel
back end.
apple.
I'm talking about the back end, almost like an apple skin.
Yeah, caramel
Yeah.
apple. It's like
Yeah.
caramely and then it like a daffy apple.
bitters
when you're
out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
bitters
yeah.
out. But you know the cool thing, it hangs out. It doesn't dissipate.
It's like those like toffee candies. I don't. Oh man, I wish I knew. Like my grandma
Those
used to have
Weathers,
them.
Werthers.
Yeah,
I tell you what, it definitely still has that sourness to it though.
I only get it on the middle of my tongue.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Like there's just the acidity, like
Yep.
that sour mash, but it's not a. It's less a flavor, more of a texture.
Yeah,
if that
exactly.
makes
Yeah,
sense, right?
exactly.
Like it's not a flavor of sour,
Very little spice coming through.
which is good because I don't think sour would play well with how sweet this
It's
is.
not. So it's more of a more of a bitter than a sour.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a light sour bitter. Yeah, and towards the end, you're right. It does. I get it towards the end. Now
Yeah.
that we're talking about it.
But it's a texture. I don't
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
an actual like.
It's not like
I'm not
it's not like when we
tasting
drink
sour.
the port. It's not like when we drink port and it pulls that dryness from your tongue.
It's
It's
just
that
your tongue's going. There's something
it's
there.
tart.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
But
tart.
it's not a flavor. It's hard to explain.
It's really weird. I'm gonna be
anytime-
honest with you. Just
Anytime somebody says sour, you think like Sour Patch Kids or
Yeah.
something like that. It's not that. It's just like a dryness.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like your tongue feels dry.
yeah.
Hey, we got to understand who's this man's mentor.
Jim
True.
Beam?
Uncle
Jesse?
Nearest.
Oh yeah, that's right, Uncle Nearest.
Why are they so different?
Yeah. I'm thinking.
This is more like a Jonathan Daniels.
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
Jack?
Honestly, it's lighter
It is.
than I really expected. Not only for the oils, just the
It is
the
very
flavor, like,
very silky.
it's
though.
subtle.
It is
It's very
silky.
subtle. It scares me for the open. I'm not gonna lie to you. It scares me for this to open because I feel like we're gonna lose a lot of what we're getting right up front.
I'm expecting it to,
Yeah.
just because it's not. It is higher end, but it's not. It's not like super high end.
But what they're trying to do is they're trying to
Bring
trying to
it.
find that niche.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean, I'll tell you what though.
Not bad.
But I
What's
mean, I think that for the average consumer, you're like, ooh,
yeah,
this is a.
that's
high-
exactly my
it's
point.
it's a well recognized.
If I was
brand.
if I was not a regular bourbon drinker and I took somebody on a date or I went out and I went to a bar and I was like, hey,
Ooh, who you dating?
I want to I want to have
Sardelli.
I want to have
You're a taken man.
no, I'm talking consumers.
Jesus.
Consumer. Excuse me, my lady loves bourbon, so I don't need to take nobody. But I'm talking like normal consumer. They take them out, or you're on a business meeting and you go in. It makes so much sense that this would be Jack Daniel's like high because they would take that sip and go, "Oh, I can handle this."
Yes.
and it still feels more regal. It still feels elevated,
Correct. Yes.
rather than the regular Jack sour mash.
No, I agree.
You know-
it's a completely different drink.
Did you guys ever buy or eat grapples?
Uh-uh.
They're apples that they taste like
Grapes?
grapes, or cotton candy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's kind of like what I'm getting.
Okay.
It's
Like
kind
an
of,
I've never had
artificially
that.
sweet type of
no,
thing.
like it wants to be natural, but it's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's like
Like your
I mean,
brain,
guys,
your
I-
brain says it should taste
Right.
like something.
I
but
just
it
gotta
actually
say
isn't.
we're getting good at this shit.
I know.
Notes, subtle notes of caramel and spice with bright fruit notes.
Yep.
And sweet aromatics for a Tennessee whiskey with a one of a kind flavor. We're getting good at this shit.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
like.
I mean,
I'm
it's,
like
bring
it.
Peyton Manning said what? 10,000 hours, right? we're at I don't know.
79 bottles, 80 bottles.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah,
that's on
no.
the show.
Yeah.
Not- not
yeah, we're
exactly.
140 hours just on the show.
Yeah. Love it.
We
I love it.
consume.
All right.
Have you guys? This is a total side note, but I just
Yeah.
had it for the first time, and it's a great price point. Maybe we'll see if he's got it. I'm not normally a toasted barrel
Mm-hmm.
fan, right? I feel it's kind of a gimmick. Like Basil Hayden's toasted,
Yeah.
meh. Elijah Craig toasted, better.
That's good.
But they have a toasted rye
Who?
now, Elijah Craig,
Oh,
that is for $50, dude.
wow.
But yeah,
phenomenal.
that makes sense though. A rye
But
having
it's
more
such a
bitter
good
with the
balance,
toasted.
is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It was incredible.
That makes sense.
You
All
guys
right.
get a chance to try it.
So let's go ahead and get into the contents for today's episode. And like I said, we're going to move in. And one thing that we want to start with, the article I want to start with is 2 ways to capitalize on your home equity. And for anybody who's listening that doesn't know, home equity is the amount of money that you have in your home. That's basically profit if you want to think about it, right? Is you had your principal amount, you started at $450, you've paid it down to $400, and now your home is appreciated in value over the last 3 years. So now it's worth $475. That means you have $75,000 in quote unquote equity in your home.
It's the difference between how much you own your home and what the value of your home is.
Yes.
That's your equity, and we're obviously in the business, but I've received phone calls in the past from clients that they're savvy people asking me how can they get their equity. Like, hey, where's my money?
It's in
and-
your walls, bro. Have you not
Right.
seen it?
And
Break the walls in.
the first time I got that phone call, it didn't make sense to me that they didn't know that you gotta lend against it. That's unless you sell your home.
Yes.
So sell your house, you get your equity, or you lend against it. And we'll segue into the first one is home equity line of credit.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of those just because they're good interest rates, and they give you good interest rates because there's collateral, which is your home, and in a sense, it's a second mortgage, but it's not because you could pull a straight second mortgage. A HELOC comes with usually checks and a debit card, and you just pay on what you've borrowed on your money. So let's say that you do pull out $100,000. You don't pay anything until you start using it. So it sits there. Typically, a HELOC, you will get a 5-year draw. That means you can use it for the first 5 years. and a 15-year payback.
The 10-year draws are becoming more common too,
and
for
that's
the equities, or for the HELOCs.
And that's probably a better bet. Like I got a 5-year draw. I wish I would have got a longer. But if you use it all up, obviously you're just paying it back. But if you use it and pay it, it's just like
It's a line of credit.
a line of credit.
Yeah.
And that's what
It's
it
a
is.
home equity line of credit.
And it has great rates because it's backed by your house. It's
So
not
here's
just like
here's
a
why we're talking
regular
about this
line
though.
of credit.
Yeah.
And this is going to speak to the home buyers, or the homeowners that watch or listen to the show. But it also is why we think that owning is such a powerful thing. Whether or not you see it as owning a home as an asset or as an expense, the fact is, at the end of the day, you're paying down a principal while the asset that you're paying down is appreciating. So I'm going to ask you two gentlemen right now. We did this a year ago, I want to say. What do you think the average in the U.S. amount of home equity is across the nation? What do you think the average person has in home equity?
220,000.
I'll say 150.
315.
That's fucking crazy.
$315,000, and that is assuming
broken
you can borrow up to 80% loan to value, which most
80,
lines of credit.
nine,
right?
Some will go 90, but it's
Right,
they're
but
hard to
this
find.
is 80, saying you're going to still maintain 20%. $315,000 in home equity the average U.S. household has. If you total it all together, let's just throw out a number. What do you think the total amount of home equity in the United States is nationwide? Like total.
$2.8 billion.
Okay.
I don't know, 10 billion.
Man, y'all are way off.
Low.
I'll give you a second opportunity.
$36 billion.
Okay.
Oh, we're low?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Jeez. 1 trillion, Bob.
$1 billion.
You're closer.
That's wild.
Dang.
I'll give you one more guess.
Wow.
$850 billion.
No, I said he was closer at
And
1 trillion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait,
so
I'm still below?
You're way
At
below.
$1.5 trillion.
Okay.
3.5
Man,
trillion.
do you guys want to know?
Yeah.
Jeez.
$17.6 trillion.
That's incredible.
Insert the Mike Myers. $17.6
Hey,
trillion.
let's all sell our house and pay back the national debt.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's how we do it.
17.6
Wow.
trillion is what the home equity is. And part of that is because we had this lock-in effect. And we talked about it in a previous episode. There were so few home sales over the last 2 years because of where interest rates were. Those people that were locked in at 3, 4, 5% have been just sitting, and their homes have been appreciating ever since. So $17 trillion.
That's a lot of cash.
A lot of cash.
That's some cash
Lot of
money.
cash.
Okay, so
Cash money.
with that being said, you guys, now you know what HELOCs are.
Yep.
Now you know what home equity is and how it's utilized. So there's 2 ways that this article outlines on how you can use your a HELOC, your home equity, to benefit you. And the first one that they talk about is using your home equity to do much needed home repairs. So think about, updating cabinets, updating countertops, modernizing your home, really anything that you want to utilize it for. Because again, most of the time when you put money into your home, you're going to get that back. What is it? Like at least 10%.
It depends, right? It
Right.
depends on the project. If I finish a basement, it's usually like 61% ROI. If I refinish a kitchen, it's 45%. If I add a room, it's 102%. So you'll never get, like, for the most part, dollar for dollar on home renovations. The rule of thumb is if you're adding usable, livable square footage, that's going to give you the best return.
Yep.
And then then deferred maintenance projects are also going to give you a great return. Right?
Well, and in a place, go ahead.
Let me, before we move on, I think you tapped in something that's very important. Home maintenance. A lot of people buy a house and like, oh man, now it's been a pain in the ass. And you do get equity, and it's it's saved for savings. I mean, I think we've used that, took that from Art, but just you got to understand if you put this money back into your home, it's only going to maintain its value or improve its value on something that needs to happen anyway.
And guess what, guys? If you're living in Colorado, it's a great opportunity right now to do a square footage addition on your home. Get more square footage, add a bathroom, add 2 bedrooms, and like that alone, being able to list with a higher number of bedrooms, just that gets you a higher list price and puts you in a different echelon around your neighbors and comparative markets.
What's the term? Functionality of the home.
Yep.
So if you have 4 bedrooms, 1 bath, Now you have 4 people trying to shower at the same time. You add bathroom, functionality goes up, price point goes up.
Yep.
The other thing too that people don't realize is, even though most home renovation projects aren't dollar for dollar, like, hey, if I spend $15,000 on my kitchen, I'm going to be able to get that $15,000 back. That's usually not how it works, right?
Right.
However, if you can use a HELOC or home equity loan, right, and it's used for qualifying
Home repairs
and improvements, you can write that off on your taxes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So if
Do
you
you
guys
guys
are
know
looking,
how huge that is?
if you guys are looking for tax deductions for next year, and you've got this equity and you've wanted to improve your house, keep your receipts, right?
I have
Make sure it's
so
permitted.
many Home Depot receipts.
Yes,
But
sir.
you can actually write those off for your taxes in the following year. So yes, you may not get the ROI immediately if you turn around and sell the house, but you can improve your livable space and your quality of life in your home. And then you can turn around and you can use those same improvements that you got by using the equity that's already in your house to claim tax exemptions and deductions on your taxes.
When it comes to taxes, a lot of people are like, oh, I could write it off. And I'm the party pooper. That's like, but I still got to spend the money.
Yeah.
I hate when people are like, oh, we could just write it. Let's go to Cancun. We could write it off. We could just talk business. I still got to spend the goddamn money.
Yep.
This is one way where it hurts less to fix your home.
Because you can use it.
Because you're going
utilize
to use it. It's going to benefit you, your quality of your furnace,
Well, dude,
the
just look at your
kitchen.
basement. You're renovating your basement
Yeah.
from a HELOC.
So yeah, in my kitchen, and I mean, I've made it to where I like it.
Well, not only that,
there's
but I've
now
been
a house. No house in my neighborhood or in Crystal Valley has my kitchen.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
but I did it because I like to cook.
Right.
But now I've improved it.
Yes.
So it didn't hurt. as
And I've
much,
seen
and I
like
could
the
write it
kitchen previously to what you did, right? That's an improvement if and when you decide to list your house. Like just the island alone and the countertops are going to get you a
Yeah.
higher offer. And you can write that off, and you can enjoy it while you're still living there. It's
Well,
great.
and what I love about this too, and for me, I feel like I've been seeing a shift just from when I was in school and coming into adult life and the adulting as it's called. I love that the second bit of this is not just, hey, home repairs or you can build this. So the second thing that it says, that 2 ways to capitalize on your home equity, is to consolidate high interest debt is the second way. And honestly, this is right here. I love the focus, and unfortunately, obviously, as things get tighter, you're going to see more articles come out that are geared towards how to save money, how to benefit. But the fact that they're talking about this, and this is a public article that people can read, I think that's getting information out that most people wouldn't know.
Yep.
And go ahead, Oscar.
So I'm a big advocate of debt consolidation, but education, because
Yes.
you don't let's say you have $15,000 in debt and you pull a HELOC, and obviously you pulled maybe $80K. There's certain debt that's just gonna haunt you forever, and it's just gonna be there. It's money you've spent. Yes, pay it back. Don't rack that back up. But I think one of the biggest things that I always advise against is autos. People want to pull that and pay their
Hold
truck off.
on. We'll get there. You're too good, Oscar. You're jumping. You're jumping. We'll get there. Damn it. You're too good. All right. So, and the reason that they talk about what does it mean to consolidate high interest debt, right? So, think about the fact that credit cards right now, the average interest rate, you're looking at 23% interest, right? But if you take out a HELOC, home equity line of credit, those interest rates are at 8%. Guys, do you recognize that that's 3 times less of interest? And for anybody, like I said, you guys know my background. Like I was a hippie. I didn't really know the cost and money side of things. But to understand what it is to go from 24% interest to 8% interest over a long period of time on a loan, you're going to save literal thousands of dollars, tens of
Hundreds
thousands.
of
Yeah, exactly.
In the mortgage world, they'll give you the truth in lending.
Well, not only that, but
And they'll
so if
show
you
you
look
how much
at
you paid
where,
throughout the years.
so the average credit card interest rate right now is what?
23%.
2013, it was 12.9%.
Yep.
So we're talking in 11 years, it's doubled. Like that is, when you talk about consolidating debt, that
And so-
10% interest swing is massive.
And so I want to just kind of highlight it because when we say consolidating debt, okay, and this is where Oscar was kind of going with the truck thing, and that's the second part of this. But what they're talking about is, let's say you have credit card debt that's sitting at 23% interest. What they're saying in consolidating debt, what that means, quote unquote, is you take out a HELOC at 8%, but you use that money that you got from your HELOC to pay off those other credit lines and or transfer, quote unquote. Now, instead of paying 23%, you're paying 8% on the same amount of money. But that will save you, again, tens of thousands and thousands of dollars over time with the money that you borrowed.
Look at it this way, because obviously the average consumer is thinking credit cards, thinking just money owed.
Yeah.
So think of it as just the money portion. There's nothing tied to it. A credit card, use the money. There's nothing tied. It's a line of credit. Nothing else is tied to it but an interest rate and what you're paying. Those are high interest rate cards and debt that you owe. There's nothing tied to it. And now I know why you're stopping me, because now what not to do is, depreciating assets.
Exactly.
And that's what a vehicle is.
Let's give
but there's something tied to that.
Yes.
That liability, right? Over here it's just credit cards. It's money. It's money moving. You want to work. Let your money work for you, not work for your money, right? So you are eliminating money owed by lowering your interest rate. And that's how you kind of process that.
So a real life example, I have a client that had about $65,000 in credit card debt, right? And they were paying 23%. They've owned the house for 4 years, so they pulled out $90,000 for a HELOC at 7.6 is the rate they got. They were paying on that credit card debt somewhere around $6,000 to $7,000 a month.
Yep.
Right, to pay, and of that 23% interest rate, right? They took the HELOC out, they consolidated that debt, and their monthly payment on that same amount of debt at a lower interest rate is $1,200 a month, which means even including paying the HELOC back, they're saving around $4,000 a month, which is almost $50,000 a year.
That's incredible.
That they have freed up in expenses by just utilizing the home that they live in and the equity that they've built over the last 4 or 5 years.
And if you guys are in Colorado,
spreading out.
I was going to say, if you guys are in Colorado or places like Texas, Florida, North Carolina, even these markets that have seen huge equity growth with investors coming in and buying. Again, we talk about it regularly. Between 2020 and 2023, Colorado homeowners saw anywhere between 30 to 40% increase in their home equity. Guys, Coloradans, if you owned a home before 2020, this is you. We're talking directly to you. If you you have a phenomenal opportunity here.
And if it's not making sense or not registering 100%, please call us.
Yes.
It's not something that you need to know and you should know. No. If you need clarification, differentiating, depreciating assets and just money owed, how to pull this money and how that works, please do. You're going to have questions. This is again, real life scenario that I got. I was trying to explain to a past client how the home equity works. And then she got carried away. She's like, oh, well, maybe I could do this, maybe I could that. And she's like, or maybe I could use my equity and then buy down my principal on my property. And I just stopped and I was like,
Why?
Okay, what?
Why would you do that?
Okay, let's start again from the beginning, how this works, because obviously I didn't explain myself correctly. Yeah. And I was like, you can't pull your equity to pay down your house because the equity's there. And it is, I was like, that's not how it works. Let's start all over. So
that's called money laundering.
Well, no, it's just not. Well, it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. Right?
It saves you any money.
Yeah.
So if it's not making sense or you have questions, we're not going to ridicule because I did it. I was like, nope. I could have been like, what? Crazy? No, I was like, oh my God. Now I'm thinking I need to reestablish myself and start all over. So she is understanding what I'm trying to explain, how to pull the equity and why you would use it. It boggled my mind that was, at first I was like, what the hell? But then I was like, oh, okay, this isn't common knowledge, nor, I mean, should it be? Yes, but you don't need to know this. So call us, call your local lender that you trust, because if you don't trust, they're going to be like, oh yeah, just pull it. No, who cares? Fund your vacation.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to talk about.
Exactly, and that's where I wanted to get into. So we can basically consolidate the last two things that you don't want to spend your money on into leisurely items and depreciating assets, right? So let's say you take out a home equity line of credit and you have you have $50,000 and you go, holy shit, this Jeep Grand Cherokee that I want to buy is $50,000, and you're telling me I have $50,000 I can pull from my house and I can pay for this car? Guys, it sounds good. in our immediate satisfaction society that we live in.
It's a dopamine hit, baby.
Exactly, it's a dopamine hit.
That's
But
the
what you
best
have to
kind,
think
though,
about,
cars.
but what you have
That
to think
wagon your
about
ass,
is,
woo, buddy.
Oh, no,
You're
we're
taking-
drinking Jack Daniels. You gotta talk like this when we watch some NASCAR. We're gonna buy an F-150. Woo!
you're talking about, you're talking about taking that $50,000 and buying something that the second you drive it off the lot, it is worth less than the price that you paid for it. So that's what depreciating asset means. So think about, like I said, cars. Certain motorcycles. I mean, even think about right now. I'm talking to the Zennials, the Gen Zs. Think about like shoes. If you have shoes that you want to buy, but you can't guarantee that those shoes are going to be sold for the same price, you're not going to make that investment, right? You're not going to.
You guys buy shoes to sell shoes?
Dude,
Sneakerheads,
there's a whole,
baby.
it's StockX. My little sister, when she was like 18, 19 years old, was making like $6,000 a month flipping shoes.
Jesus.
Trust me.
StockX.
Yeah.
My wife wants some
Yeah.
Nike Dunk wedges.
Yeah. Yep.
I could sell for like $400.
Right.
Used.
But that's an example of a depreciating asset. So you never want to take your home equity line of credit.
Pretty much anything that's going to be tied to an object.
Yes.
That object's going to
Or
either appreciate or depreciate, but in the world of taxes in real life, it's going to be a depreciating asset.
yes. Or you don't want to do one-off purchases that really don't add value. And guys, I'm a videographer, I'm a photographer. Don't get me wrong. I love capturing weddings and moments for people having, I have a quinceañera that I'm going to shoot. That is phenomenal.
I want to go.
I'm gonna shoot with those, but
Those are fun.
that is not something that you take and dump your home equity into, because although your memories are, you're gonna hold on to them, you don't want to take that
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
50,000.
You know what? Quinceañeras are forever. That's for your baby girl. If you need to do that, do it. Wedding.
Again, weigh your
You might
options.
get-
We're not
You
gonna
might get
talk
divorced. You're not
about.
divorced.
Hey, listen, we're not gonna talk about how weird it is that in the Hispanic culture, a quinceañera signifies a young girl becoming a woman at the age of what?
I've had this conversation with my wife. Do I have to have this conversation with you? My wife's like, so does that mean that she could sleep around? I was like, no. She's just becoming a woman. She's not gonna go. Oh man,
very,
I love
very
it, but-
different.
My wife's from Minnesota. I had to explain some shit. Quinceañeras. You know what? That's a heartfelt moment.
It is.
Wedding. You may have a couple weddings.
But
so
average wedding cost right now is $30,000.
Yep.
Like, and as somebody who's looking at and planning a wedding, it's expensive. Like,
you gotta do fix
even
and
right
flip,
now,
Charlie. That's why I paid for mine.
right? But the whole point of this is, do not take your home equity and put it into something that's going to depreciate or something that isn't going to add value to the home, because you're basically just putting yourself in a further hole. More debt. If you're going to use your equity, use it to benefit you.
Well, and then, so a good example, so people refinance and pull money out, right? A cash out refi to pay for stuff. That's why home equity is a little bit better, because you have more control and it's less amount. And anyway, if you're going to, let's say you do pay off a depreciating asset. Now you took that car, truck that you were paying. Yes, it's going to free up money now, but now you have financed it for 30, 15 years.
Exactly.
So you're going to spend more money in the long run. So does it make sense? I don't know. I don't know. Work the numbers, because it just might. But more likely than not, it's not going to make sense. And now you have amortized this 5-year loan into a 30-year loan, 15-year loan, depending on what your amortization are, if you refinance or if you do a home equity line of credit. So you're spending more money in the long run.
Yeah, and honestly, guys, if you have home equity, this all comes back to why real estate agents and people who are in the real estate industry always talk about real estate as an investment, as you want to own an asset, because it's one of the only things that you're going to purchase, and just by you existing and living, the value can go up. And once that value does go up, it's one of the only assets that you have that you can then borrow from it to make that asset better and make you more money. That's it. That's really that mindset.
Unless you're buying Harley Davidsons that are worth
Exactly.
a lot of money.
Yeah, like historic cars or anything like that. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
But again, you need that capital to go into it. You need 3.5% down to get an asset.
Would you take the equity from your home if you found a really good Lamborghini Countach from 1984?
Again, weigh it, right? If that benefit is there,
Absolutely,
yeah, do it.
because now that asset's an appreciating asset.
But again, guys, it's the
same
from,
principle as taking your home equity line of credit,
And
using
buying
it as a down payment on a rental.
Boom.
Exactly.
Then use the income from the rental to then buy the luxury items that you want.
Boom.
Have your assets pay for your materialistic things.
your life. Yeah, absolutely.
He's not just a pretty face.
All All right. So let's go ahead and move into the second article topic that we want to talk about. And Jameson, let's go ahead because we're going to save the market for the last one, right? So Jameson, go ahead and introduce this second article topic.
Yeah. So the second one is, as people want to sell their homes, especially coming into the spring market, they obviously want to maximize the value. And there's ways to do that via staging, upgrades, updates, like things that can be costly in nature, right? And, for example, I use a stager that for 8 weeks, $2,400 will stage 5 rooms, make it look incredible. But it's $2,400 that, the seller may not want to spend. Even though if you stage your home, you sell on average, and this is according to Zillow, 80 to 90% faster than homes that are not staged.
So this is like, it's going to be a lower cost cheat code of how to make your house be a little more.
And I will tell you guys,
a little more attractive,
yes,
if anything else, which will provide value.
And I'll tell you guys, my main client for the videography business is a custom home builder. Shout out A to Z Builders. And the things that I've seen their designers do with not only a small space, but just a simple rug, pillow, candle decoration, whatever it may be, like it's been incredible to learn how visually stimulated humans are when it comes to remodels, home purchases, home sales. And guys, again, don't forget that when you put your home on the market, you have to play the marketing game. You have to understand that the better you make it look, the more that you make these buyers feel like they can live in this home and envision themselves living, you're going to make more money.
When we go out camping or we go out, to the park or anything, Emily always makes fun of me because I make a perimeter. I either put on my canopy or something, but then it attracts everybody to where we are. Because if you're just sitting on a table, open air, it's just like, it's kind of awkward. But as soon as you establish a perimeter, it's more inviting. And that's kind of like where we're going to go with here with that rug. Like a lot of people, a rug makes a difference because now you have a perimeter where you're supposed to sit and kind of
and not only
differentiates the other parts of where you are.
You want to talk about visually, right? If you have a rug and you properly size that rug, just the lines and the curvature of that rug in a room can make it appear larger.
Correct.
Like there's just so many things. So in this article, this professional stager talks about how they use three simple items to elevate a space, which again, like we just said, brings more buyers, lets them envision the home a little more. So the first thing that they talk about is setting out flameless candles with a realistic flickering wick. And they said, a flameless glass candle can set the mood in your home while allowing you to live free of the stress of fire spreading.
And if you think that's funny, it works.
100%.
It does.
I do open houses, and what's the first thing you buy for an open house?
Cookies.
Absolutely. 100%. Before I buy the balloons and the signs and everything else, I go and buy some cookies, and we're going to bake cookies there. I don't buy, you buy cookie dough, and you bake them at your open house. Just the smell. You don't realize how many people walk in, they're like, oh my God, it smells absolutely fabulous in here. It smells like home.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set the scene for you guys. So listeners, viewers, close your eyes, okay? Now imagine you're driving through Colorado, you just got here, and you're about to move to the city. You're excited about it, it's a new place. You're driving through, and guess what? When you landed, it's snowing. And now you're driving through, you go on I-70, you get up, you get into the mountains, you get past Idaho Springs, and you see, wow, these trees are covered in snow. This really reminds me of a Christmas landscape. And then you pull up to the house, and the outside of the house is very well done. It's neat. There's fresh snowfall. There's some footsteps that lead up to the door in the home. You follow those footsteps up to the door. You open the door. And when you open the door, you're met with the smell of a burning fireplace, wood burning. You walk in, there's some warm lighting. And in that living room where that warm lighting is, there's a beautiful couch with a faux fur rug or blanket that's thrown over the top of it. There's a little place in the side of the room that has some bourbon set out on the table, some glasses, and then right there's the fireplace. And on the mantle, there's a couple burning candles, and there's a 75-inch TV over the fireplace that's playing football. Does that excite you? Would you sit down in that room?
I'm gone.
Right?
I'm there. Let's go.
Right? And that's exactly how you have to think about it, because as somebody who does virtual staging, I don't go in and set it up, but I do set up rooms with, like putting couches in rooms and stuff like that. You have to think about the experience for the buyer. And that's ultimately what this leads to. Things like this is when they walk in, if the buyer feels comfortable by something like a warm light from a candle flickering, guys, that changes the ambiance, that changes the experience. And as we all know, your brain is going to react to sights, sounds, and smells. And guess what? you just hit all three.
This is your personal living space. You want to walk in somewhere, you want to spend some time. You're going to want to spend some time here. You don't want to walk in and be like, man, it's a wet back alley. That's, I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
don't
don't
want
want to. I don't want to walk in and see a leather couch that's been scraped up by a dog and has a pee pad in the corner. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to see that.
Well, and I think the Occam's razor of human beings being so sightly driven, right? Sight driven, is by and large we kind of lack imagination. If it's not in front of our face, we have a hard time visualizing ourselves living in a space. Okay, so I'll give you another real life example. I'm selling a condo right down the street actually, and the condo's 1,100 square feet, so it's not big. It's small, but it has vaulted ceilings. Number one,
1,100
visually
is a good size for a condo.
makes it look bigger, right? But they had a living room, and in that living room, they had a large sectional couch. And the couch for them fits their lifestyle, very comfortable. It's got room for them to watch TV, plus their dog. If they have family over, a place to sit, so on and so forth, okay? But as a buyer, if I walk into that same space, my thought goes, wow, this is a small living room. So what did we have them do? We had them take the sectional and just remove a part of the sectional. Take it out of the house, put it in storage for showings, and then the part that is supposed to attach to the other part of the couch, put a nice faux fur blanket on it, throw pillow, whatever. And now that same living room looks 3 times as large.
And Jameson, I'm not going to
we
let you.
We didn't expand.
I'm not going to let you skip past this. I'm going to make sure that you say it. How many days was that listed?
2.
It was on market for 2 days. Right.
And for the listeners and viewers, average days on market on the low end is about 40 to 60, but we're looking more like 100.
And this was a $520 a month HOA, which also normally steers people away.
Yeah.
But
It's crazy.
what we did was we went through, and I use an interior designer to do a staging consultation for every single listing. And she looks at the lens not only through a third party that doesn't live there every single day, but as a buyer. And she would do things like moving pictures from one wall to another wall to make the walls themselves look larger. Right?
So
Like little things like that, as a buyer, when they walk in, now they can visualize. And
guess
that's
what,
what this
guys?
article is about.
If you're watching the video, or if you haven't yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel because you can actually go on and check out exactly what Jameson is talking about. We did a full video walkthrough of that property, and you can see what it looks like to have those vaulted ceilings with that larger living room with that couch in there.
And because I've done a few fix and flips in my career, I just walk through the property with that mindset already.
Yep.
And then when I have to sit down with my clients, I usually tell them we're gonna, I don't know if this is a word, depersonalize your home.
Yeah.
We talk about
And-
declutter, depersonalize, and there's a third D. Declutter, depersonalize, and
Yeah.
there's a third one.
Can we get unprofessional real quick?
Yeah, there's a little one.
But
Anyway, but at the same time, I also tell them, look, it's harder when they have children, especially young children.
Sure.
Because it's their home. It's their personal space. I tell them, look, pretend you're renting this place now. So just keep it there, keep it clean. And then I don't want any trace of you in the house. Pictures out the walls, all this. And then we're going to make sure that the rooms look larger. Because it's your personal space. You get comfortable. You start doing things and, for your personal taste.
Yep.
So that sectional couch thing, that's brilliant because it could be a very big space.
You're trying
but
to
if you
play
have
with the mind.
If you have a big armoire, a china cabinet, a big sectional couch, all of a sudden, though that maybe 10 by 15 room just got reduced to 5 by 5.
And no matter what I do with my lens, 10 millimeter, 13 millimeter,
matter.
The
doesn't
man
matter.
works magic. He just can't work miracles.
Well,
It's
think
gonna
about it
look
this way,
good.
right? So let's talk about some cheap ways you can do it. So, Oscar,
codes.
if I were to go to Bed Bath & Beyond's bankrupt. Bad example. Home Goods.
I heard you could still use their. No.
If I go to Home Goods, how
The
much
coupons that are
does a
expired.
set of bathroom towels cost me?
I haven't bought towels in a while, but I'm gonna say. I mean, you could go to Amazon.
not a lot.
35.
There's
I mean,
not a
20
lot.
bucks,
50 bucks.
Sure.
20 bucks. I got some embroidered, super fancy looking towels for my bathroom
Right.
that have my insignia eye for my last name. I look bougie as shit. I
Say,
spent
don't
like
get me
15
started
bucks.
on
But
accent towels.
In my
15
head,
bucks.
I'm trying to sell my house, and I got a 5-year-old daughter, right? And her towels are Pokemon, something else, something blue. They're all over the fucking place, right? But if I go to somewhere like a Home Goods or a TJ Maxx, and I spend $60 on 2 sets of neutral colored, decent towels that we can still use, but then for showings, You walk into a bathroom and everything's congruent. You've got just the same color towels, different sizes. You've got a neutral bath curtain that doesn't have SpongeBob SquarePants on it.
Well, and
right?
to just to go for number 2, you're touching on it, and that's why number 2 that they say is dropping a neutral rug to unify a space, and that's exactly what you're talking about right now.
Just neutralize everything. But my point is, it's not. People think it's expensive.
No,
It's not.
It doesn't have to be. I can get towels for $60. I can get cable management for TVs and lamps and so on and so
That's
forth
in
to
here
hide
too.
cables for $30.
The less messy and clean it's just,
exactly. The
it's
more
visually satisfying.
Okay, so think about it like this, guys. If
Can I do a PSA real quick?
yeah,
PSA on hand towels. I visited some of my friends that are bachelors. Buy some hand towels. We just got done talking about they're cheap as hell. I don't want to dry my hands on your bath towel that God knows what you dry it on. Just buy some hand towels.
Yep.
I love
It's
it.
just it's
I love
courtesy.
it. But no, guys,
Anyway,
really,
back to the show.
What they're talking about here and what Jameson's talking about is dropping a neutral dropping a neutral rug to unify the space. The purpose here, the quote that you want to say, it's focused on is unify a space.
Correct.
And what they mean by that is bringing it together, creating the image in that space that the human brain thinks should be there. And that's ultimately what doing this is going to do when you stage at home is think about it. If you walk into a house that looks like somebody lives there and it's all, like Jameson was saying, there's Spider-Man stuff over here, there's princess stuff over here, your brain can't really put it together what it's going to look like when you live there. But if there's neutral colors, if everything is neat and tidy, the human brain can then create an image in their head. And that's exactly what this article is talking about, is helping you create that image.
Well, and even on the flip side of that, so we're helping create your image or your liking.
Yep.
If you have mosh podge of stuff, it's now creating a negative image. So it's going to hurt you.
Well,
so it's not that you're just creating a neutral canvas. So, the potential or future buyer is going to come in and now put themselves living here. If you have a hodgepodge of stuff, then they're just like, this reminds me of this reminds me of that. And they're going to be bad either memories or just bad feelings. Now you're hurting yourself.
And the goal of selling a house is to sell it for the most amount possible, right? And the only way to do that is the law of supply and demand. If more people want to offer on that property, the higher the price is going to be. So the goal is to appeal to as many people as possible, right?
Fish in a barrel.
If I keep the SpongeBob SquarePants and this, that, and the other in the kid's bathroom and it's clear that a child lives there, you might turn off every single home buyer that doesn't want kids.
Well, and
or
so
can't have kids.
Another real life example, and just so you know that we don't just do this general public, this is our job, ourselves and our family members. I sold my mom's house, one of her old homes, and my mom has her own taste. So she came in and she put burgundy colored rug throughout the house.
Hell yeah.
Loved it. That was her. That was her jam, right? So when she hired me to sell her home,
You want to murder somebody?
the first
And cover it up?
You don't
Absolutely.
even have to cover it up, baby. You just do your thing and it's done. So when I did a consultation with my mom, the first thing I said was, "We're gonna hire someone to remove your carpet." And she was like, "Well, it's semi-new. Can we just clean it?" I was like, "Nope. It has nothing to do with your cleanliness.
It's semi-new, but it's also fully ugly.
And
I was
realtors,
like,
if you're listening
you
to this,
have to get rid of it."
it's going to cost you more money for me to go in and digitally remove that rug and replace it than to just
Well, dude, not only that,
Do
it's
it.
going to cost the seller and everything else more money.
You know
by not
what?
replacing it.
You know the specific buyer that's going to have to come out and want to buy this house?
yeah.
Let's get rid of that carpet. It's going to cost you. And I have, again, use us. What's your proposition value? I come with a plethora of vendors that'll
Yep.
wait till the end of closing to get paid.
Yep.
Get the damn carpet out. It's going to probably improve the value of your home. And then all of a sudden you went from maybe 10 people that like that burgundy carpet to, the masses.
Yep.
Because
And-
all of a sudden now I eliminated the one thing that made this house niche. And then just everybody likes it now.
And the last one that they talk about, and guys, I'm saying this as somebody who's worked in tech, as somebody who does listing photos and have walked into some pretty disastrous listings. The last one that they talk about is hiding eyesores like cords inside a cable management box. And guys, I'm going to tell you right now, one way to devalue a home immediately is to have that power strip that you got from your parents when you moved into your college dorm room that's yellowed and it's been there since 93, sitting with 5 things plugged into it and a spider web of cable and cords going across your wall.
Yep.
You're going to devalue it immediately because, let's talk social engineering wise. You get somebody that walks into a room and the cables are just sprawled out everywhere and they can't see the cleanliness. That just adds clutter. And in the human brain, clutter equals
anxiety.
Disgusting. Clutter equals anxiety.
Well, clutter also equals, to me, and this is how I try to explain to my clients as we're walking through, clutter equals, in a buyer's brain, deferred maintenance.
Yes.
Even if nothing is wrong with the house, the precedent is set. And the buyer's going, well, if they don't care enough about this, why would they care about the HVAC, the AC, the roof, the plumbing, everything else?
I bet you
and
go
they
straight down to the furnace and check that filter.
They start making up in their own brain what
could be wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is, they may still offer, but guess what they're going to do? They're either going to offer, it's going to be lower, or they're going to offer and they're going to go ham on the inspection because they're just assuming there's things wrong. Like, it's all human psychology. That's what it is. You're trying to sell your product, which is your house, to somebody who's never walked in it before in their entire lives. And this article, and I think we can probably link it in the show, is all very, very inexpensive things. Like, again, we'll go back to the condo I just put in a contract, right? After 2 days. I paid for my interior designer to come in, and we walked for an hour. It cost me, as an agent, because I cover that cost, $250. It cost my sellers $0 other than a little sweat equity to move some shit around and make sure everything's good to go. There's a checklist provided. They go boom, 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 boom. Okay, we're all done. First showing, one offer.
I was literally going to say, if you guys,
list.
please guys, look at the listing, look at the video, but like, it's legit. I got excited to shoot it when I was in there.
And it wasn't anything that was just monumentally hard to do.
So we're going to put that to the test because I have the absolute same scenario coming up either this week or next.
Let's do it.
We'll see it.
Yeah.
You'll see it. It's a about, I think it's 1,000 square foot, 2-1 condo in Arvada. So similar cities.
Yep.
And the rug, the carpet needs stretching, and you'll see it.
Yep.
We'll put it to the test.
I love it. I love it.
I would love to be under contract in 2 days. So
yeah.
So far, I mean, Charlie and I were 7 days max.
Let's get it, baby.
So
Got it.
2 days. Dude,
2 days?
We got something good going on.
We're doing good.
I'll be honest. Here's a completely different scenario. Andrew Wiley's house, right? Not a disaster, but not well taken care of. Same thing.
Do we need to call Andrew Wiley and make sure that we have his permission?
Oh, dude, we sold his house at list.
Not only we have his permission, but he's
concessions.
probably like, yes.
Yeah,
with no concessions.
I was gonna say you guys should go check out that review.
And we did this. We did the same thing where we brought somebody in. He didn't have a ton of money to fix everything. We took care of the main thing, which was the carpet. We got their carpet replaced for like $2,500. It probably saved him almost $30,000.
Yep.
By spending $2,500 just to replace the carpet.
Just to kind of wrap a bow on this, guys, what we're trying to say is there's way more psychology that goes into marketing and selling your home.
It's all psychology.
Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, let's call it.
And you don't need to do things like fully remodel your kitchen. What you should do is figure out how to make your kitchen look the best that it is, as is. And
staging cheat codes and hacks.
Yep.
There's
Exactly.
plenty of them.
Exactly.
And another PSA, if your electronics are yellowing, you should probably replace them. Or throw them away. Just throw them away.
Yeah. Guys, any
Or if you have a screen in your house that's wider than about 4 inches.
If your TV weighs 200
you have a
pounds,
box back TV.
you should probably throw it away.
Do you have a
man.
gateway computer? We need to talk.
I mean, back in the day, we used to have that TV that was furniture, and then you bought the new TV.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
yeah.
put it
yeah.
I mean, the new TVs, you can't do that, but that's basically what you're doing.
Yeah.
You just
Dial.
Yep.
throw it away, man.
Exactly.
Throw it
All
away.
right.
If it
So-
weighs more than 50 pounds, you should probably go buy a new one.
We got a lot of value for you guys in this first hour. And the last article that we want to touch on is pretty close to home.
It is.
Pretty close to home. It's about 30 minutes away.
30 minutes away. We talked about this. We touched base on this. I think it was 2 episodes ago. We were talking about the real estate market for 2025. But as of right now, what market is a top market in the United States, guys?
According to the highway signs, if you drive down there, Carlos Spigs.
Color space.
Colorado Springs, and you know what? I've been spending quite a bit of time down there lately.
Yeah.
It is a cool city.
Dude, it really
It
is.
is.
They
It
have
is.
a lot of restaurants. They have a lot of cool stuff outside of the fact, like if you come to Colorado, if you don't know Colorado Springs, if you do, you're probably military.
Yep.
It's a military town. The Olympics, they have Olympic training camp down there, so that's
Air
huge
Force
in
Academy.
itself.
Yep.
They have the Air Force Academy. They have Pikes Peak, the Broadmoor,
Garden
they
of the
have-
Gods.
the Garden of the Gods,
The
is
North Pole.
Great, the North
Pole,
Pole.
yep.
Yes, if you
They
have
have
children.
Cripple Creek with the ice castles.
Oh,
and-
you have what's that? We spend a lot of time there too. The little town that's connected to it.
Manitou.
Manitou Springs.
Manitou Springs with the incline.
You go not just the incline. They have 7 different natural springs you
Yeah.
drink out of. They're like it's like alkaline.
Cave of the Winds.
I was gonna say, be careful. It's high in magnesium.
Cave
Yeah,
of the
but,
Winds.
a quick Cave of the Winds, super awesome. You got to do that.
Yep.
They have some. I could go on and on. Colorado Springs is super awesome. Outside of the fact of all of that we just talked about, it's a growing city. There's
It
more
is.
stuff to do in Colorado Springs than Denver.
So it's a growing city, and it is benefiting in 2025 because it had such a sharp uptick during the pandemic where housing prices went ham.
Yep.
That now, last year and going into this year, houses in Colorado Springs, and this is for buyers, right? If you guys are looking for a place to live and you're flexible in where you want to live, the average days on market right now is about 63 days, which is 30% longer than last year. And it's about 20 days longer than anything you can find on average in the Denver metro area,
And those homes on average are only 25 years old.
which means you can get a deal, whether that's concessions, a break on the purchase price, more leniency during the inspection period.
Colorado Springs is where I did that transaction where my client bought the house for $100.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, and something
And you know how I do. I get
want to
kinda
give
crazy.
I want to give President-elect Trump some credit because I believe one of the biggest things that he did,
I got to pour for this one. Hold on.
one of the greatest things that he did, and then I believe fully helped the Colorado Springs market and the military members down there, is Donald Trump took the cap away from the VA
Correct.
loan.
Yes.
Which, since he's done that, there is a positive correlation
Yes.
between the moment that happened
Yep.
and the average home price in Colorado Springs. So, like, guys, again, we talked about it, but I need to give the credit there because I feel like that was a catalyst that helped to explode the Colorado Springs market, especially because you have two separate service, or three separate service. You have the Air Force, the Army, and is it the
Well, you have you've got Cheyenne Mountain,
Yep.
military base, Fort Carson, Army military base, Peterson Air Force Base,
Yep.
and then you've got the Air Force Academy.
Yeah. And so right there, the market there, if you are in the military, you have your VA loan, please take a look at Colorado Springs. It is a phenomenal opportunity, and you don't have to put anything down. Can I tell you how jealous I am? Like, all of my friends
I'm
that are in
working
the
with
military.
I'm working
like,
with two VA
there
buyers
was
right now.
there was something recent too with VA that I can't remember what just came up that's super freaking awesome too.
Yeah.
Like VA is just getting awesome.
Oh, yeah. As they should. They deserve it.
As a military, if you're in the military and you don't own a home, give us a call.
I was
We
gonna
can
say,
walk
yes.
you through it. I mean,
or
the-
tune
the-
into our episode from last year.
And we should get these people in. I have a person here
Yeah.
locally that help veterans get into homes because they're good at what they do, right? Whether they're engineering or just fighting on the front lines, that's all you should need to know. There is liaisons in the military that will help you
Yes.
get all your information together to get your VA benefits.
And
So let's talk about
I'm big on that.
The Springs, the biggest thing, right? We talk about why it is.
But-
And again, it was voted the Western U.S. city that is going to have the top housing market.
And
in the
before
US for
before you
2025.
get into that, you know how I get kind of crazy with real estate.
Yeah.
I went from selling Wild County, Hugo, Colorado. I'm doing it in the Springs, baby. I was out in Yoder and Callahan.
Heck yeah.
I'll tell you what, this client, we went and looked at 30, 40 acre parcels, wells, everything, decent homes,
Oh, yeah.
38 acres. And it's on the
Yep.
prairie. Give me a price point.
I'm going to 280.
Meh.
I'd say about
You said
five-
40
I'd say about
acres?
500.
Starting at, we were 350 all
Yeah,
the way, and the
yeah.
highest we were roughly
That's crazy.
5,
Yeah.
but average 450.
That's crazy.
38 acres with water, because they were all VA FHA. So at septic tank, wells, electric, everything tied in. So you're just moving yourself into 40
Or you
acres.
go a little bit. You go
If you're
farther
from the
west than
city,
that.
when you go see 40 acres,
Yeah.
it is big.
It's huge.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
or,
lot of
I mean,
land.
you could. But if you want, your white picket fence, 3
Yeah.
bed, 2 bath, you can go to Peyton or you can go to Falcon, and your starting price point on brand new construction is $425,000.
City of
Right.
South Colorado Springs.
Yep.
My client that bought for $100, it was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, bi-level home on a quarter-acre lot. We ended up at $335.
Right. So that being said, the average home price in Colorado Springs right now, $489,000. What is it in Denver?
$580.
$1 million.
So you're talking about $100,000 difference, but you're going to be in an economic hub. You're still going to be about 35 minutes away from Castle Rock, an hour away from Denver, 45 minutes away from Lone Tree. But
They got their own
the
airport.
city is big enough that, especially if you go like north of the Interquest, the Briargate area, North Colorado Springs, you've got golf courses, you've got movie theaters, you've got strip malls, you've got every amenity that you want in a large city.
But not
what
only
Jameson is saying right now is, if you guys remember, we had Art, the real estate investor. As of right now, the Colorado Springs market is checking a lot of boxes for good real estate investment.
100%.
Exactly.
Because I've been spending a lot of time in Colorado Springs. The only thing they don't have is a big downtown.
Yep.
But they have a downtown.
But what I was,
They have great dining. You know, I'm a little bougie when it comes to dining. They have the Ford Amphitheater going in.
have you been to the Alice in Wonderland restaurant?
I have not.
That's
that
the
one's sick.
It's the speakeasy.
Yeah,
They
that's
have
on-
a
yep.
ton of cool stuff. I am exploring Colorado Springs right now.
Yeah.
I won't
love-
go
I
into
love the
Denver.
Springs, man.
I won't go to Denver. I'm exploring Colorado Springs. I just hit this new chicken sandwich place, Daddy's Chicken or something like that. Oh, it was phenomenal.
Fire.
Dude, I lived down there for 5 years. I love
Well,
the
and the
Oh,
way
Springs is
the
freaking
way that I
awesome.
look at it too is if you guys, okay,
I'm not surprised
There's
that
an
they're on
article.
there.
There's a national article that just got put out that's saying, hey, this is a hot market. The only thing that's going to happen is this hot market is going to bring more people. More people equals better infrastructure. Better infrastructure equals better amenities. Better amenities equals more people. So right now, what this article is basically saying is, hey guys, we got a sleeper cell here. And
Come.
to Oscar's point, Jameson's point, I've only been here for 6 years, but in the last 10 years, how much has the Springs grown
Oh,
in comparison?
Astronomically.
Right?
a lot.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, and
I mean,
so
how-
it's
Castle Rock, how much has it grown?
right.
I go down to Springs to go to X Golf
Yeah,
because it's the same distance from here to Lone Tree. I'd rather go to the Springs because there's more stuff to do.
especially since they just finished all that construction on the
Oh,
highway.
I just got. So my kids love to swim. They're aqua babies.
Great Wolf Lodge.
I was
baby.
there.
Yeah.
You stay overnight and you get free pass to their.
Hey,
to their
are
pool.
you a guy that drinks Jack Daniel's single barrel?
Oh,
and
you
wanna
take
go
yourself
hunting?
down to-
Guess what they got? They got down there something called Shields. Okay.
No.
Shields is the outdoor mecca of the South.
And they
in
also
Colorado
got
Springs, all right?
the Bass Pro Shop.
I love it.
I'm just saying, I think you can go in there and actually shoot the guns in the store. But no, so on a national level, let's talk about the 3 markets
Yep.
that are the hottest in 2025. One of them, to me, blows my
mind.
fucking mind.
Yep. 100%.
So Springs is number 1. Mm-hmm. Virginia Beach, Virginia, which I lived in for 9 years.
I've never been, so.
First thought when I saw it, I was like, why?
Mm-hmm.
But average house price $389, military again,
Mm-hmm.
installation. The third one though,
Yeah, this one.
that
is
I've been
wild,
to.
bruh. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach area. Okay, so I get the allure of Florida climate.
I live near the West Palm
snowbirds,
Beach
so on and so
area.
forth. Here's what blows my mind, and I don't know where they're getting the stat. I'm going to kind of call bullshit. The median listing price in that area is $525,000.
But
Yeah,
I think
but
they get. I
you
think
got
they get you with the
snowbirds.
Miami.
But you also
Because
got to think
so my
snowbirds
family
though.
lives down in Florida, and they live in Punta Gorda. Punta Gorda right
Yeah.
now. And you know, you go to Punta Gorda, you go to Apollo Beach, and they're on the Gulf Coast side, and they have
That's
inlets.
not Miami then?
Yeah, right. But it's Central Florida.
Okay.
So you go in the inlets, and you got like water in your backyard, and
Yeah,
like,
I
all
get
that.
that.
So,
But this is
they're
Miami,
only like
Fort
200
Lauderdale,
grand,
bro.
right? So that's Florida in a whole. It's kind of weird because you have like these $100,000, $200,000 areas that's pretty predominant, but then you go to Miami and you got multi-million dollar
Dude,
homes.
but that's what I'm saying. This is saying
So
the
Fort
median
Lauderdale,
list price,
it's still higher end, and West Palm is really high end.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know where they're getting the 525. I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
I could see if you would like. I don't know if they got this stat in average like all households.
That's I think that where
It's
Oscar's
gotta
going
be,
is- that's what I mean.
Because West Palm Beach is expensive as shit. It's like hoity-toity.
I mean,
and
the
so is
average
Miami.
the
But
average
Miami
list price
also
of
has
a
some hood.
canoe in Miami is $525,000.
I'm a huge fan of CSI Miami, Miami-Dade Police. I mean, there were some hoods in there. I'm just saying.
But that being said, so the overall theme, if you guys are looking and potentially moving out of Colorado or trying to say, hey, you know what, I can work remotely, where should I look? Right?
Springs, baby.
The South and West dominated the list with all 10 top markets in those regions.
Mm-hmm.
The majority are in Texas, Florida, and Virginia, with the most affordable market in the United States right now as far as up and coming and appreciation is McAllen, Texas.
But Virginia Beach, 389, is that pretty accurate?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, I've never been.
It's
It's very rural.
it's not rural. It's just I don't
compared to some here.
It's like Lone Tree,
389 for
but
Lone
you're
Tree's
about 15 minutes from the beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically what it is. There's not like a epicenter. There's not a real downtown. You've got the boardwalk, which the boardwalk is cool, but it's not a Miami.
That's kind of their version of a downtown. Is the
yes,
boardwalk.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I would say it's like Lone Tree, but put Lone Tree on a beach.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
Shit,
I like
you put
it.
Lone Tree on a beach is multi-million
Well,
dollars.
smaller houses.
Yeah. Way smaller.
All right, so
And
maybe
but again,
maybe
look
not
at
Lone Tree, but
all I'm
South
saying is
Aurora.
with everything we touched on with this,
Littleton.
if you're a military member, you should be investing in real estate right now. Sorry, but
You should.
That you want if you get I'm sorry, but you get paid to live, you get paid to be married, use it, guys. Please use it because you are in a much better position than 95% of normal home buyers
I'm
right
going to
now.
give you a tidbit. I don't care where you live. You have tons of equity in your home. Get a HELOC. Get 20% of a down payment. Let's start looking at McAllen, Texas, where the 270 stats guy. What's 20% of 270? Go buy you some rentals down
56.
there. Check out the rental market. See if you could invest in some real estate down there, because we'll talk in about a year when this
53.
number is doubled, and you'll thank me then.
Yep, exactly. All right.
20% of 270.
Get 20% of
Give it to me.
270?
How much?
20% of 270.
10% is 27,000, so 30,
40.
34? Or no, 44?
44.
Ish?
Roughly 46.
No, 54. 54,000.
And that's
$54,000.
if you put 20%
Yeah.
down. We can
That's
you could get in at
well-
3.5%.
Well, no, I'm talking about investments.
Yeah.
You take $54,000 out of the equity of your home. You go buy a house in McAllen, Texas.
Yep.
And just even if it breaks even, just leave it alone, because in 3 or 4 years, that 270 is now going to be 470, and now you have tons of equity.
Yep.
And now you have passive income.
Love it. Real estate, everybody. On that
Bam.
note, guys, phenomenal episode. A bunch of information getting thrown in, and we hope that you guys, were able to follow it. If you have any questions or want us to expand on any of the topics that we talk about, please reach out to us. As always, we're more than happy to talk with you about anything that we discussed. If you have any questions, you want to learn a little bit more, please feel free to check out the channel because we have over 70 episodes that are all donated to helping you learn and know more about real estate and how to capitalize on the real estate market.
Fun fact. I'm throwing a bunch of PSAs and fun facts today. Nikola Tesla lived in Colorado Springs.
He did.
Really?
Yeah, he did his entire experiment on
On the
the
Tesla coil.
conductivity of
The Manhattan Project and all that
electrodes
shit.
in the ground.
He did.
No
in
shit?
Springs.
Did you ever watch this is such a side note, and Charlie's going to say no, and I'm going to make you go watch this fucking movie again. Very similar
I'm
to
glad
Rain
you
of
at least you know now.
Fire. Very similar to Rain of Fire. It's Hugh Jackman and The Prestige.
The Prestige.
Watch The Prestige.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Because, and the only reason I say that, he has a magic trick that is derived specifically from Nikola Tesla's experiment that he did in Colorado Springs, where he essentially put light bulbs in the ground and figured out a way to conduct electricity through the ground without wires and power all of the light bulbs in a field that were not connected to
Here in
each
the
other.
Springs. And if you can't find it online, I own the DVD.
All right.
Prestige.
Sounds good.
Great.
That interests
And
me.
I have a DVD player that'll
Oh,
probably let you borrow.
it's Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
Hugh Jackman.
Dude,
okay. I'm
it's-
down with that.
And the fucking Batman's butler.
Oh man.
The old guy.
Yeah.
The old
I
guy.
don't know his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Michael Caine.
Michael.
Caine.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman. Christian
That's a
Bale.
cast, all right.
The Prestige.
All right.
Go
a good-
watch
it's
it.
a good
It
movie.
is
Okay.
fucking phenomenal.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All
It's
right.
a little bit of Houdini, a little bit Nikola
It's so
Tesla.
good, dude.
On that
It's so
note,
good.
let's go ahead and move into the bourbon review
No,
for.
one rock takeaway.
Oh no, sorry. Jesus,
God,
you're right.
you are
See, you caught me.
rusty.
I did good on the intro, but
Hey.
moving. All right.
That's
So what we're gonna do now is move into our one rock takeaway for today's episode. And for our new listeners, one rock takeaway is basically our what we try to be concise final thoughts on the topic for today's episode. Either one of you guys want to take it?
I'll take it first.
Go
if you
for
don't
it.
Mind.
Go for it.
There's tons of hacks and cheat codes. I know that's the trend. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds, or even $0 to make your house a lot more attractive and to add value to it. You don't have to spend. You don't have to break the bank. We have the knowledge to make it work, but you have to do it.
my one rock takeaway from today's episode would be planning is everything if you're planning on listing or buying a home. So with that being said, don't be the person that gets in a situation where you have to sell and now you're straggling and reaching around to find ways to sell for the proper value. Prepare. Always be thinking of what little things can I do or what maintenance and upkeep can I do to my home in order to sell it for the max value. So my one rock takeaway is prepare, whether it's preparing and looking at good markets that are up and coming, whether it's preparing and staging your home with candles or preparing and taking out a HELOC to redo your kitchen. Just always prepare when it comes to real estate.
All right, mine is going to be on the heels of when we talk about how do you access the equity of your home. We talked about HELOCs, home equity line of credit. We talked about home equity loans. Okay, those two, fantastic. To Oscar's point, here's a PSA. If you have anybody approach you and ask if you have an interest in a home equity agreement or home equity share agreement, run for the hills. And the reason I say that is because if you take the average homeowner having $319,000 in equity, but you also bump that up against the amount of debt that's in the country, there are a lot of individuals and households that are at a financial cliff, right? And home equity agreements are hunting those individuals. And the way a home equity agreement works is they give you a lump sum payment to pay off debt. And they don't make you pay interest. They don't make you pay monthly payments, nothing. And it sounds fantastic. You become burdened because the catch, right, is they tell you that they now own a share of your equity that you gain on the home. And the more equity you have, once you sell that home, the more you owe to these individuals.
And they have ways to make it legal for them
to
own it.
Absolutely legal. It is a lien on the house. And I have seen it, again, personal experience, with a homeowner that had over $200,000 in equity in their house. They took out a home equity share agreement or a home equity.
Okay, I think this needs to be a full episode.
I totally get it. I'm just saying, my point is, my takeaway is when you're researching how to access your equity, speak with a knowledgeable realtor, lender, financial advisor to make sure you are not getting taken advantage of. And the reason I'm saying that is because I had a client that was taken advantage of to where his net sheet, after we sold the house, he had a home equity share agreement. Even though he had over $200,000 in equity, he walked away with $93 on this house after 5 years. Mm-hmm. Just be careful. There's a lot of equity, but there's a lot of unsavory individuals that are trying to tap into that. Make sure that who you're working with has your best interest.
Reputable, because there's a few different ways that they do that. And I dealt with one, remember? And
yes.
I could only say, because I talked to the attorney general for a while, and it was ongoing, and most of my real estate colleagues were like, just leave it alone. You're not going to win. I'm fucking stubborn. Let's just put it that way. And I won. I am, as of right now, I'm the only agent, I don't know if the nation, but in Colorado for sure, that has gotten their client out of there. But I was talking to their legal team. So they had legal backing for my client's home. And my client did not pull that much money out.
Right.
It was $3,000.
That's wild.
Which I think that could be a great segue to next week's episode.
It was a 40
how to avoid pitfalls.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But hold on,
25?
it was a 40-year listing agreement.
Right.
So there was a real estate agent involved.
Yes.
So that's when I said, if you do talk to a realtor, make sure they're on good stand.
So maybe that's what the one rock takeaway is. If you have money, regardless if it's physical, in an asset, in your home, there are always people that are looking to take advantage of that. So make sure you're doing due diligence so that you're not being taken advantage of.
I like it.
Back yourself with some good people.
Yep.
I like it. All right. So let's go ahead and move into the Bourbon review for today's episode. And on today's episode, we are drinking the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select bottle that if you go into bars regularly, you're going to see it on their top shelf. It's going to be very well known. Obviously, Jack Daniel's is one of the most well-known brands worldwide. So we wanted to bring it on just to kind of get away from the more unique and boutique bourbons and come into one that's a little more mainstream. I will start it off by saying that I understand why this is mainstream. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say that.
Yep.
That's how I'm gonna start the bourbon review. And as you guys know, we give these bourbons a rock rating on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the best, 10 being the worst, because the more rocks you put in a bourbon, technically the worse that bourbon tends to be. So that's how we grade things. We've only had one bourbon that's peaked that one. Check that episode out. It's the Old Soul. But I want to hear what you
We're
guys
like
think.
a 125 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great bottle.
Yeah.
But again, we got to give homage, I don't really want to pronounce it, to Jack Daniels. They're iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Daniels is one of the most recognized iconic whiskeys, whether you watch movies or you're
We wouldn't have these
anywhere.
boutique bourbons if it wasn't for Jack Daniels staying in.
He's tread some grounds, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we got to give him the respect, whether you like Jack or not. You know, they've done some shit. I have a number 7 Christmas ornament at home.
Yeah, nice.
Jack Daniels. So
Nice.
whether you love them or not, they're still a staple here. They're a part of Americana.
Yeah.
You know, they are who they are. Do you want to go on with your rating? I have a rating already.
Go for it.
You know, I have to take in
I
consideration.
think Charlie wants to go last.
I have the consideration of who they are. This drink is very drinkable. It's a good bourbon. I know we're a little bit harsh on bourbons. It's commercialized, all that other stuff. Get all that nonsense out of the way. The juice is pretty good. I still think their flagship their flagship is just not great, but it's well known, and you can make it great by mixing it whatever you want to do. All the other stuff I think is fluff until you get to the Sinatra. This one is very drinkable for beginner bourbons. Go for it. They're not very expensive. You're gonna get a decent juice inside of it. I rated it a 4.
Okay.
I love how you. Okay.
I love this setup.
Well, now I gotta fucking.
Damn it! Now I gotta get a fucking tablet. Oscar, Jesus. If you guys are listening,
And a
Oscar,
4's not bad.
Oscar has now moved to giving a displayed rating on his iPad. I love it. I feel like now I gotta get him.
Because now I'm going back to the episodes.
Yeah.
And seeing what I rated other bottles and when I'm tasting them by myself.
I love it. Wow, you're using the podcast to
I'm just saying.
follow back? That's
I'm
amazing.
just trying to refine my
That's
palate,
amazing.
baby.
All right, so I will say at the beginning of the episode, I said that my fear for this was going to be it's going to lose its complexity, and it did. It absolutely
my
did.
rating.
But
absolutely
it was still
did.
drinkable.
It was drinkable.
Not bad.
It was, but again,
Like if
it
I
wasn't-
have to say if I rate something bad that's not drinkable, it's gonna be in the 8s, 9s.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I say it like that is the reason I started with it is I can see that this is a consumer bourbon. Like I know why they put this out. I know why they have this. For the price point that it's at, I would spend the money on something else.
Absolutely.
And the complexity for it completely died out. I mean, just on the nose, I'm getting just straight ethanol. I'm not really getting that sweetness. I'm getting a lot more of the sour as it's sat open. Like I'm getting back to normal Jack Daniels with the flavoring. It doesn't. And again, I know that most people are going to drink this. They're not going to sit with it open for an hour or whatever it may be. But it's a testament to the build of the bourbon itself, the actual juice. And for me, price point. If you're taking somebody out and you're wanting to not spend a lot on a pour, but come across as somebody who knows bourbon, who wants to drink a little bit higher of a bourbon, great way for you to go. If you're sitting with people who drink bourbon, do not give them this bottle and tell them that it's good bourbon. That's kind of where I'm going to sit. I think I'm going to lean, and only because it is Jack Daniels, I'm going to hold them to a little bit higher of an echelon. I'm going to put this with the price point being anywhere between $45 to $60, depending on where you get it.
Do you know what it is per pour?
I do not know what it is per
Do
pour
you
here.
want to know what it is per pour?
What is it?
18.
Okay, yeah. Don't buy this for $18 a pour. I'm just going to tell you that now. I'm
There's
sorry.
way more. There's better.
There's better
juice.
stuff for that. But
But if you're a Jack Daniels fan,
yeah, if you're a Jack Daniels
not
fan,
bad.
so my rating, I'm going to sit at a solid 5.6.
wow, man, you beat it.
I did.
I think I went down the route of
You're being nice.
it's Jack
You're being
Daniels.
nice.
I gotta give him some respect. It's Jack
And don't get me wrong,
Daniels.
like I have 2 bottles of Sinatra Select sitting at home waiting to be
2
opened.
bottles.
Yeah, that's right.
Jesus.
That's right. I got to waiting to open, but I just
All I could. I mean,
yeah.
Chappelle's playing in the back of my.
Right.
I'm rich, bitch.
I'm sitting
They're
at
not
that,
cheap bottles, but they are delicious.
and I got them when they
They
before. So
are delicious. I
So, yeah.
am a big fan of.
my rock rating for this
It's
guy,
awesome.
5.6.
I'm going to call this bourbon, for my NFL fans out there, the Zach Wilson of bourbons. And I say that because
Damn.
there was promise. And we saw it at the combine, and everybody fell in love with that initial experience of him throwing a dart 70 yards down the field. Then he started having sex with his girlfriend's mothers, and has been nothing ever since.
No smoke with the people out there that do that. But
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying, like, I hate to say this.
so is this the Zion Williamson of?
Well, no, he's been playing well lately.
He's not too bad.
Yeah,
He's been
still.
playing. This is at least Zion's averaging 20 points a game. Zach Wilson hasn't
I mean,
started
he was
since
like
Jets.
praised over Jaw. I mean, I was always like John Moran.
Totally get
but
it.
Whatever.
My point is, this is going to be harsh.
Really, God, did I break this?
No, but here's the deal. Like, I feel like Jack Daniels needs to stay in their lane, and I don't think right.
I just want to
Just
clip
do
it.
what you
I want
do.
to clip
Like,
that
I
and
just-
tag
I
him.
just think Jack
be what
Daniels.
you are and good at.
I
Yeah.
just think Jack
Maybe.
Daniels needs to stay in the lane, and that lane on the highway of bourbons is the right lane. Don't go in the left lane and do 65. Don't get in the HOV with one passenger. Just stay in the fucking right lane.
But
Okay?
you would think with their resources, they have.
I know,
ton
but
of
that's what I'm
money.
saying.
You would think the product would be better.
That's part of why I'm
Yes.
saying
Okay.
stay in your lane. I'm not as harsh as Charlie, right? I'm going to go with a 5 with a meh
Damn,
face.
I went with.
Okay?
Do I have to put a 0.5
But
so
I
could
agree.
just-
The bottom dropped out. Like, I was, again, this is the Zach Wilson.
and maybe
This is the Zach Wilson analogy, though. When I first tasted, I was like, "Oh my god, caramel, apricot, plum, vanilla, like a slight sour mash on the tongue." And I'm like, "Man, if this opens up, this could be surprisingly good."
Okay.
And then when I just took a sip now,
it was water.
it's all sour.
But
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
still a little thicker.
I
think
mean,
it-
it's thicker from a texture standpoint, but the
So,
flavor's gone, dude.
This is where my rating comes, right? I was
For
rating
18
it,
a pour, fuck no.
okay. If you're going down that route, yes, absolutely, I agree, 100%, 1,000%. But I was going down the route of it's Jack Daniels. It was
Right.
not going to be held to a high standard for me.
No, but they changed the bottle shape.
They
put single barrel
when you
select
put
on
yeah
it.
when you put it on
Like,
the top shelf and you put
yes.
single barrel.
and you're charging $18 a pour.
Wow, there's absolutely no burn to that,
No.
and it's very sweet.
It's sweet, but it's still it's
But that's
sour.
it. But
yeah.
then it does.
It's one dimensional.
Okay, so that one. All right. So take what we said, and then that does fizzle out.
yeah.
And that's where it
Exactly.
dies. That's
Exactly.
where
Put it
this
this way,
fails.
Dexter
Because-
at a bar is about $15 a pour.
So, okay, I've been to bars where they've poured me $20 Blanton's too, which we don't like. But Blanton's is up there, right?
Is it?
But
Fuck Bland.
no,
Is
up
it?
there in where
Yeah.
people.
We haven't
Yes.
done Bland's on the show, by the way.
Yeah, we
We
probably
don't
won't.
want to.
want to.
You
I
I'm
kinda
sorry,
want to.
Blanton's, but
I kind of want to.
and I'm a Buffalo Trace fan, but whatever. I think I think a good bourbon. It doesn't matter what our palate is.
Mm-hmm.
A good designed bourbon could withhold. So, all right, let me gather my thoughts. A good
Hold on,
bourbon.
I know where you're going with it. Let me. If we didn't have the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass, if we didn't have that one, I probably would have rated this higher because we had that sit for
Kool-Aid man.
we had
Sad.
that sit for an hour and a half, and it was just as complex
So let me tell you,
in the first part.
what makes a good bourbon? Time.
Yes.
What keeps a good bourbon is can it withstand time open? Mm-hmm. So time made and time open. A good bourbon, it will sit there for a while, and you pick it up, and it's either going to be the same or better.
Yep.
So what you're saying is time in the bourbon.
Ah, you fucker. Say it. Go ahead. Put that shit on a T-shirt.
beats
It's time.
timing the bourbon.
Wow.
Is what you're saying.
Wow. Full circle moment.
Wow.
Full circle moment.
I
love
agree
it.
with you, though.
I love
Oscar.
it.
You
Well,
couldn't
I
have
mean-
set me up any better.
I mean, an aged bourbon's always going to be better, and
Yep.
then if you open a bourbon, you pour it, it's going to stay.
Yep.
Exactly.
So we got
And the good bourbons age well. They appreciate over time.
And
Oh,
when
wow.
they open them, they
wow.
stay.
It's
Wow.
almost as if bourbon and real estate have similarities to it.
Wow.
Hey yo,
We
welcome
should-
to Real
we-
Estate Surfing the Rocks.
I was gonna say we should probably start a podcast talking about bourbon and real estate because they're very similar.
With that, guys, phenomenal episode. You know that you can reach us at any time. We all have our own personal socials that you can reach
Yep.
out to us. Oscar.
Oscar the Realtor CO, and I should probably plug this towards the beginning. We're going to try to bring in the Children's Heart Foundation and get a charity event going here soon. The podcast is going to be involved. The Rouge is going to be involved. I would love for everybody to come and support. It's a great cause, so hopefully we'll get more information out to you and see you here.
Love it. I love it. You can find me at That Lifting Agent or The Lifting Agent, or you can find the video production, BeatTheJeansProductions.com, or at Beat the Jeans Productions on Instagram and Facebook.
The Colorado Real Estate Guy, and Jameson Amros everywhere else.
The guy.
And if you guys want to get in touch with us,
our
phones are on, open. Email is open at all times. You can email us at resotr@themilehighperspective.com or give us a ring.
720-584-3361.
And to everybody who has been viewing the podcast on YouTube, guys, seriously, thank you.
You guys are awesome.
These last 3 months have been incredible. The amount of reach and growth you guys are giving us, comments, likes, everything. Thank you so much. It's helped us. It's gotten us a wider reach so we can work with companies and work with distillers and stuff like that. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. We hope that you had a phenomenal holiday season and that your 2025 is off to a great start. We will be here for you this year, as always. We look forward to helping you and give you some great information.
And for all you newer bourbon people, send us some bottles you want us to try. We have been sought out by some distilleries now.
Yep.
We're kind of connoisseurs, so
we're getting there.
We'll give you some good. I mean, we've actually had some people in here that we wanted to just destroy, that their bourbon was actually good, and vice versa. So we'll tell you the truth. Let's keep drinking responsibly out there.
Cheers.
Cheers.